Hey everyone, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I wanted to share with you the one sheet wonder that I created the other day, and I promised that I would show you how to do the second one. And this one I ended up changing up for a birthday theme, and I used a couple of items out of the How Sweet It Is bundle. So I used a piece of the Designer Series paper and the How Sweet It Is cardstock pack. And then in addition, I also used the Birthday Cheer stamp set and the Itty Bitty Birthday stamp set. And then I also brought in an oldie but a goodie, Picture Perfect Birthday, because this has a lot of really great sentiments and a lot of extra stuff that you can add in. So I did add the confetti, I did one of these little birthday hats, actually two of those, and a cupcake. And then I used a lot of the different greetings. And I'm going to apologize if I sound like I'm talking quickly. This is actually the second time I've filmed this video because I have this horrible cough that for some reason when I talk, it gets activated. So I'm going to try to breeze through it a little bit. I did cut the cardstock, so that's all cut. This is also from the How Sweet It Is cardstock pack. So it comes with Gorgeous Grape, Coastal Cabana, which is my favorite, and Lovely Lipstick. And then I had a couple pieces that I used to do a lot of the punching out of. So we used various punches for this instead of using the die, the layering circle dies and the scallop circles. But you could use whatever you like. But I just thought this would be easy. And it would also be simple if a person maybe doesn't have the big shot yet, or they don't have all the layering circles yet. So I'm going to share a little tip though. Instead of doing this, something else you can do, if I can make it that far. And then I'm going to share with you, this is actually the 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock that I used. And I will put the actual instructions for the cuts. I will put a photograph of it onto my blog later on. So I'm not going to show you that because it's just not easy to get into this whole frame of how I shoot my videos. However, I will share everything with you cut-wise. So I'm going to go over that with you first. A couple of these things, as you can see, I did layer them ahead of time because I got through the video and then I had to stop. So what you're going to do is you're going to make your first cut at 5 1/4. So you're going to end up with 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to go with that again. So it's going to be 5 1/4, and then the next cut is going to be 2 3/4, and then you're going to end up with a piece that's 4. Okay. So out of your first 5 1/4 sheet, you're going to cut at 4. So you're going to get 4, another one at 4. So you're going to have 2 cards, and then you're going to cut one at 2. And then you're going to have another one left at 2. So you get 4 cards off of your first slice. So this is going to be a 12 card one sheet wonder. And then for your second piece, that's 2 3/4. You're going to cut 2 3/4 will be your next slice. And then it's going to be cut at 4 1/2, 2 3/4, 3 3/4. And then the piece that's left will be this little piece here, which is 1 inch. I already layered it onto a back piece. So that's going to be your next sheet. So that's 4 more cards. And then you're going to have 3 cards, and disregard my line here. I drew before I measured. So this is going to be 4 inches by 3 1/2, 4 inches by 3 1/2 again, 4 inches by 3 1/2 one more time. And I actually use the other side of this paper. So if you can see here, on one side you have the dots, and on the other side you have the diagonal stripes. So I thought it'd be fun to do something different there. And then the last piece is going to be 4 inches by 1 1/2. Okay. So my tip to you was this. So as you can see with some of these pieces here, I layered it. So I cut anything that has a layer is cut 1/4 inch bigger. So this was 4 by 3 1/2. So this piece behind it, the Coastal Cabana, measures 4 1/4 by 3 3/4. But what you could do to save paper is you could cut your layering pieces if you're going to do layers, and then you could punch your punches out of the background because you're just going to cover it with the DSP anyway. So it'll save you on paper. It's going to be hidden. Nobody will see it. So I'm sharing this with you because I didn't think of it until after the fact, which I usually do because you all know that I am a paper hoarder. However, somehow I managed to, that slipped out of my mind. But what I did was I have a couple of these set up, and I kind of did put some of them together. What I did was I stamped basically all of the sentiments at the same time. I stamped them onto a piece of Whisper White, but I did different color combinations. So let me show you that. I used the colors that are in the pack. So that's Lovely Lipstick, Gorgeous Grape, and Coastal Cabana. These are the 3 colors that are in that cardstock pack if you purchase it. And then I kind of added a few auxiliary colors to kind of pep it up and blend it. So I have Pool Party, Highland Heather, And then I went with powder pink. So these all coordinated nicely together. They complemented each other really well. So I thought that's why I went with those additional colors. And then I did also bring in just a little bit with the markering of a couple things I colored in. I did some soft sea foam. And I think that's it. I might have done a little bit of crumb cake for something as well. But for the most part, I stuck with that as the color scheme. And then I also brought in just a little bit of black, because I thought this looked kind of like offset everything a little bit. So I have all of my cardstock here, all cut. Again, these are all in the colors in the cardstock pack. So what we're going to do is we're going to layer all these together. And in the end, we will have 12 finished cards. And one other thing I was thinking of doing is I may do a tutorial in the future where we do a class-themed tutorial where you can buy the stamp set. And then you could buy, I'm just going to score this last one that I forgot. You could buy the stamp set. You could buy the bundle with the stamp set and the cardstock. And maybe we could do like some ribbon. Or you can buy just the PDF. And if you buy the entire bundle, I'll do it so it comes along with the video as well. So I have considered doing that because since then, the way, for some reason, when I'm measuring these One Sheet Wonders, I'm always end up measuring them slightly off, which sounds ridiculous. However, because I'm looking at the template and doing it, but at the same time, it's creating a whole new One Sheet Wonder, which is how this one came about, because I had another one that I measured, and when I did it, oops, I forgot one more. I'll just fold this one. When I did it, I thought, oh my gosh, I just made a whole nother one because somehow I remeasured incorrectly, even though I'm looking at the paper. But these One Sheet Wonders are a great way to do two things: to get a whole bunch of cards done quickly, if you like to prepare for birthdays or having cards on hand. And again, you don't have to necessarily use these for birthdays. You could swap it around to that striped side, or you could even do the polka dots, and you could make these thinking of you cards, or cards to maybe cheer up friends that are sick. You don't necessarily have to be birthday, but this paper is just, actually this whole set is just so fun that I thought it'd be great to do for that. So let me just get the rest of these, and then we will get all these layered. So I did talk about this earlier in the other video, but I'll mention it again. If there's another thing that you can do to kind of spice these up if you feel like they're a little plain, excuse me. Got to talk in a different tone of voice, which is you could take your cardstock and you could run half of the sheet through an embossing folder. Pardon me. We have so many different embossing folders. You could run this through Softly Falling. You could run it through Subtles. Anything you wanted to. You could run it through the Sparkle, through the Sequins, if you wanted to like make it a little bit more extra. All right, so what we're going to do now is just we're going to take these, let me move this out of the way, and we're going to kind of decide how we want to lay these out. So this one we might need to back with something. This one could be simple, which we don't want to cover up too much of that DSP. So we might do something like a layer like this. Should we layer this on top like that? We'll see. This one might be one that will benefit from running through an embossing folder. So I'll put that on the side. And then some of these, what we might do is just cut a little extra piece of Designer Series paper. Not Designer Series paper, cardstock. Just to back it with something else. So we have a couple of these designs laid out. And again, I did do a lot of these ahead of time, but I didn't do a lot of the layering of how I wanted to design the actual card layout. Let's see this one, if we have a crosswise one. Go with this. And I think I'm going to put a piece of paper behind this one as well. So this is the nice part. You can kind of decide which paper is it that you like it on better. So I think I'm going to do, and this one's sweet, my son fussy cut this for me because I fussy cut this one and he saw me doing it and he said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Sure." So this is mine. And this is his fussy cut. Bless his heart, he did a pretty good job. I did neaten it up a little bit, I'm not going to lie, but it took a lot of tape because this middle part here is hanging on by a thread. As Bon Jovi says, it's living on a prayer. All right, so I have a cupcake. I just did a little cupcake here, so that's fun. This one might be another one we can run through. An embossing folder. Just have a couple more. Let's see. This one, did I lose something back? Here it is. I was going to say I lost the greeting on that one. Put that, hold on, I might make this one better on pink because it has the purple. Well, let's see what it looks like on here. Yeah, I think the pink is most fun. We can kind of off-center that. We can center it on, just depending. We'll leave that one there. Okay, the confetti. This one could run through. Ah, what you like? I cut one extra. And that always happens. Okay, so let's see. I like it better on the cabana. So these are going to be our cards. We're going to put these together. The only thing we're going to do is we're going to take a minute and see if there's anything that we might want to add a backing piece of paper to, which this one might look nice having a backing piece on it. So I'm going to just grab my trimmer again. I'm going to bring this over, and I have all these. And I have the rest of my cardstock pack, which this does have a lot in it. So you get 24 sheets. You get 8 sheets of each in it. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of these gorgeous grapes out. And I believe this was 4 inches. Yep. So I'm going to just trim one of these down to 4 1/4. And I think this one was 3 1/2. So I'm going to do 3 3/4. So that's a layering piece for that because I think that makes it look a little bit more finished. Let's see. So that looks good. This one, these 3 don't need it. This is good. This one's good. Put those together and put these in a different pile. This is a whole sheet, so we're going to set that on the side. Same with this whole sheet. We're going to set that on the side. I think this could use a backing of something, so let's see. Look better with that. Yeah, so I'm going to cut this. I'm going to give this one a layer. So this is 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. Is that 2 3/4? 3 3/4 by, yep, so I'm going to make 3 and by 4. Okay, I'll layer that on. That looks cute. I think I might still run this through a folder. This one needs to get run through a folder. This one I think is nice, even with the tone on tone. We're going to keep that one. This one needs to get run through. This one maybe could use a pop of, let's see. And sometimes, even if you have a piece that's not really necessarily long enough, if you have a piece that you can cut and layer, so you can kind of cut them together. So let me just show you what I mean. So this is 2 inches, I know. So if we were to cut this just at 2 inches, so even though this is nowhere near big enough, if you kind of layer it onto a piece, so let's see, this one would fit over. And then, so right there, even though this, and you could even make this so these met. So this one was on this side. This is on this side. And this is in the center. So just like that. So we're going to put that together. Just that like that. I have one other piece here. I think this needs a little something. This could use one of the ones where we cut the strips. And if this is 2 3/4, so if I have 2 3/4, and we'll cut this to, let's say, 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch. What we can do is we can just layer this onto this. So it kind of gives the illusion, but it's really just 2 1/2 inch pieces. We'll put that on there. I think that'll be good. This one still needs something. So let me grab, I'm going to grab a piece of Coastal Cabana for that one. So I'm going to cut one more in half. And quite honestly, I really don't need these cardstock packs, but the colors of them are so nice. So that's 4 1/2 by 2 3/4. 4, so it's going to be 4 1/2. So this needs to be 4 3/4. I usually, quite honestly, just buy them because they're kind of nice to be able to share with you guys. So again, if we did this ahead of time, this would be one of the ones where we could punch out something from the back and use it. So again, just keep that in mind. So that one looks good. We'll put that together. So I think just these, I'm going to run these through the Big Shot. So I am still going to do that with you guys. That way you can see what I mean. In the meantime, though, what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to put these together. I'm just going to put some snail on the back here. And I kind of just eyeball these to line them up. Let a little bit stick out. It doesn't have to be too much. Let's see what that looks like. So I just want to basically make sure it's really more than anything even. Okay, and I'm gonna, so that's gonna go there. I'm gonna finish putting this on. It's gonna go here. Let's see, is this all assembled? It's all, oh, nope, this one's not. Don't be shy with your snail or adhesive. Nothing worse than having a card that falls apart when the person gets it. Okay, so these four we're gonna run through. So I'm not going to do anything crazy complicated, but let me move these over for now. And I'm going to grab my Big Shot. So remember, when you do your Big Shot work, if you're doing the large folder, so the dynamic folders, all you need is your platform and one cutting pad. If you're using the thinner, older folders, you're going to use 2 cutting pads, okay? So basically, to save time, I just grabbed the top 4. So I'm going to use, this is the sequins, and we'll use softly falling, and we'll use the subtle. So one of those we'll use 2 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my platform in, and this is going to be one of them. I'm going to do this with the subtles. So I'm just going to slide this in. So if you can see, this is the entire sheet here. I'm going to slide this kind of to the fold line, like so, and you want to feed it so the opening is going in. So this is the part that opens, is going in towards your Big Shot, because it puts less pressure on the crease part, or the bend, I should say. So I'm going to crank this through. Okay, so there's one, and I just missed this a little bit. I didn't put that in quite as far as I wanted to, but I'm not going to repeat it for sake of, don't want to make you guys have to wait that long. So that was the subtles. While I have the same out, I'm going to go ahead and use the sequin. And again, this is crossways. So what I usually do is I'll just put my fold line right in and then close it over just like that. Kind of feed it just a little more if you want. My cutting pad, and it does feel like it's a little tight. That is normal. It's just because of the pad. So there's 2. Set this one over here, and then let me take a sip. I'm going to do the last 2. Oopsie, just had a catastrophe over here. I'm going to do the last 2 with the softly falling. So I'm going to do one of them in this way. So again, I kind of have that to the fold, and then I push it just a little farther. And for this one, I'm going to need to add my second cutting pad. This one, it doesn't really matter, since it's thinner, which side goes in first for the crank. At least I don't think it does. So we have that one. You have that. Okay, that one with this. And changes the whole, honestly, changes the whole look. This one I'm going to put in sideways. Just for the heck of it. But I'm going to make sure that I get my crease in, just so the whole thing is covered. And again, since these fit different directions, with the Big Shot, anyway, I don't know about any other die cutting machine, you don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to fit, because it does have a little over a 6-inch opening. Okay, so let me just pull this one out, and you see that last one. And there we have that. Perfect. So let me move this over, and then we have our last little guy there. Let's scoot these out of the way. But this way, you'll also, too, be able to see. So this kind of worked out well to be able to see what these look like with adding them. So if you do have anything that has the impressions on it, I would highly recommend using the Tombow liquid glue because it gets in the grooves a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of decide how I want to do this. I had these before kind of nestled. That looks kind of fun. So since these two are together, I'm going to put glue on them like this. And then I'll kind of adjust them as needed, which is the cool part about the liquid glue. You do have that adjustability. So I'm going to get them where I want them. I'm going to give them a press. Okay. And while I'm doing that, just going to set a block on it just to make sure it stays. Okay. So same with this. You may need to recrease your bone folder, recrease your fold, I should say. And I'll put this here. Same thing again. Give it a good press. I can add this to my pile. Okay. This one, which is super fun. Do the same thing. You can even put some of these on if you wanted to. I'm going to put one of these on with dimensionals. So one, I'm going to add like that. Make sure it's straight. And then the other one, just grab a dimensional. These are kind of the end of my dimensionals. Put a cupcake on. Okay, so there's that. Same thing, just keep stacking them up. Make sure you put a good amount of glue on the back of this since we have these in a couple pieces. This here. Okay, same thing, give it a press. All right, now all we have to do, this one got lost, and put this one on. All we have to do with the rest of these is just assemble, and we're almost done. So we're going to put this on. Make sure you have your sentiment facing the correct direction. You could put this one with dimensionals too if you want to add a little something to it. This one we decided to do like the two ends stacking. So I'm going to put these on kind of at the same time so I can make sure that they're spaced the way I want them. So we'll kind of put one up here at the top. One on the side over here. And then this one, I'm just going to add the rest of my dimensionals onto this to pop it up, just to give it a little extra something. Okay, there's that one. Tone on tone, very easy. Make sure this is opening correctly. Put this one on, and then one sec. Add this to it. There's that. And just a couple more. Okay. Put this on to a layer. Look at this, a whole stack of cards that you'll have all ready for any birthday. I mean, pretty much any birthday, because the colors of this are all great. They could go for kids, adults. Super fun. And then you could add whatever sentiment you wanted to on the inside. So let me just lay these back out so you can see some of them. Have that. This one. And there will be pictures of all these on the blog. Okay, so we have this. Some uprights. And then these are the ones that we ran through with the embossing folder. So you can see that subtle. Sequins. Softly falling. In 2 directions. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, you can always send me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com. You can find all of the info for the measurements and everything for this on my blog, which is rachthestamper.com. And you can buy all these supplies and more in my online store 24/7, which is rachthestamper.stampinup.net. If you do purchase that currently, if you use the January host code, which is here, you will also receive an extra little bonus thank you from me in addition to the regular thank you. And every $50 order now during celebration, which ends March 31st of 2019, also gets a free celebration item, but you also get a thank you gift from me and a free full color PDF. So I thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope you have an awesome day.